Thank you for joining the Mentorship Program informational webinar. My name is Ashley Barnes. I'm the Senior Academic Advisor of Undergraduate Programs at the School of Professional and Extended Studies. Today, I'll be providing an overview on the Mentorship Program. Before we start, at the end of the presentation, we'll do a Q&A session. Feel free to type your questions into the question box. We have staff on site to help answer questions as we move throughout the presentation. I'm joined today by 3 Mentorship Program alumni. Before we jump in, I'll have them introduce themselves. Anna, can you start us off?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Ross. I was a part of the mentorship program in 2018. I'm currently a sophomore at AU. I'm studying political science and environmental science, and I found that DC is really the perfect place to do that. I love the location of AU, and I'm from Ocala, Florida.
And Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm also a sophomore. I did the mentorship program last year in DC again. I'm from Chicago. I'm also studying political science, and honestly, like my favorite part of AU is just like the activism culture, and it's just like such a great place to be if you want to be involved in making a difference.
And Alize.
Hey guys, I'm Alize. I'm from New York City and I study business entertainment in school, and I'm thinking of specializing in film, but I may self-design my specialization. I participated in the England Mentorship Program in 2018, and the program honestly changed my life. And my favorite part of AU is the sense of community. It's just the most welcoming and fun and inclusive place to be.
By joining the Mentorship Program at American University, you'll be able to set the foundation for academic success. The Mentorship Program is an opportunity for students to intern and learn in DC or explore UK culture. As a student in the Mentorship Program, you'll take classes that align with American University's new core curriculum, which focuses on developing student inquiry and learning across all disciplines. AU core classes will spark your curiosity to ask questions and unravel problems. Students use critical thinking skills to engage in a complex and constantly changing world. Both the AU core and mentorship program sets the foundation for student development and academic success, while keeping you on track to graduate with your class of 2024. We refer to the Mentorship DC program as MPDC. MPDC students intern 3 days a week with an organization in Washington, DC. Using our internship database, students start their search during the summer. Students will submit their resume using the template we provide. Our team will review and provide edits. Students then receive immediate access to our database. MPDC students take AU core classes that are required for all first-year students. MPDC students are a part of a live and learning community on AU's campus, which means that students take classes together and live together. Our students will have co-curricular programming based on a complex problem seminar, which is an AU core class. Programming takes place on and off campus, including visits to historical DC landmarks and various nonprofit organizations. Our alumni can speak to their experience in a live and learning community. Anna, can you start us off?
For sure. So as a freshman, I lived in Leonard Hall with all of my Washington Mentorship Program friends. I felt a really close connection to my floor, especially. I think it was really nice to kind of have everyone in the same area, and everyone was going through the same experience as you, right? So we were all interning, we were all kind of figuring out how to manage college on top of, working in the city, living and learning in DC. And so in that way, I really saw a sense of community. I really felt that, and I still talk to a bunch of people from my floor as a sophomore. So it's really been a long lasting thing for me. And another one of my favorite parts, I think, was since we were all together, a lot of us would commute to our internships in the morning. So it was nice to kind of always have a friendly and familiar face around you.
Michael?
I also lived in Leonard Hall. I think we might have actually been on the same floor as Anna. And I think that my experience, I really also enjoy just everybody like in Leonard going through the same thing. So we were all like going to internships, and I was commuting with somebody. We got really close as friends, and so like the connections that you make through this mentorship program, both in your internship and just in general, going along with the people that you're living with and working with, they're going to last for a very long time. And I think that was like my favorite part, was just having that like jump start into like the real world and getting those connections.
And Alize?
So since I participated in the UK mentorship program, I started living in Leonard Hall the spring semester of last year. And the great thing about that was that when we were in Bath, we all lived in singles. And so by the time we had to apply for housing for the spring semester, we were able to choose our roommates, which was amazing because that way you could choose somebody from the program that you already knew and liked. And so my roommate and I got along super well, and we loved living together. And I lived on the 8th floor along with most of the other students from my program. And so I got to keep those connections while also meeting a lot of other people who participated in the DC program. So that was a great way to kind of start off my AU experience.
Thanks, guys. During the fall semester, MPDC students take up to 14.5 credits. The required courses include Complex Problem Seminar, College Writing, American University Experience, also known as AUX1, Mentor Field Practicum, and the Toolkit class is required for international students. Aside from the Toolkit class, the other 4 classes will put students at 11.5 credits. Students also had the option to take 1 major pathway class, including mathematics or statistics, economics, or politics in the US. There are other major pathway classes per school, and students can contact us to find out what they are. Students who choose to take an additional pathway class end up with 14.5 credits. So to our alumni, can you tell us what you enjoyed about your classes while in the mentorship program? Anna?
I think 2 of my favorites, I really liked the mentored field practicum. I found it really helpful. It was a great source of kind of being able to check my progress throughout my internship, making sure I was getting what I needed to get out of my experience. But my favorite, more hardcore, I guess, academic class was definitely politics in the US. I mentioned I'm studying political science, so I was lucky in that this counts towards my major. So I was able to take a class in my major my first semester of college, which was really cool, and not something you'll get at every school, I think. I had Professor Crouch, 10 out of 10 would recommend. He's fantastic, and he was a great resource for me as a freshman.
Michael?
I think that for my favorite class, it was also like the mentorship field practicum, because just the support that the professor, like advisor, actually provided for me during my internship, both in finding one and then also like helping out with just difficulties I had during the semester. It was just really great to have somebody who really knew internships in DC, who knew how to help you and resolve issues. And it was just absolutely amazing to have somebody that was really able to support me, and like I had a personal connection with somebody on the staff.
And Alize, can you talk about your experience as an MPUK student taking classes?
Sure. So we took 5 classes my year, and the classes did change from the ones that I took to the ones that the students will be taking this year. But in my case, the students took college writing. I had AP credit for that, but the students took it online. Now it's being offered in person, which I think is going to be great. And we also took 2 classes with an AU professor, Jason Renkitori, who was amazing. We took intercultural understanding and introduction to college inquiry. Those are now kind of going to be brought together for a complex problem seminar, but both those classes were extremely interesting, and they were especially fun to take while we were in Bath because we kind of mixed our international experiences with coursework. So those were a lot of fun. And we also got to take electives with the students at the university in the UK. So that was like a fun chance to meet students from that university and to also learn about the British school culture.
Thanks, guys. So here's an example of what your week would look like as a MPDC student. MPDC students choose between Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday classes. As you can see here, the 2 tracks have corresponding internship days. Internship hours are from 9 to 5, and classes are in the morning, mid-afternoon, and late evening. Our alumni will share how they balance their classes, internship, and other extracurricular activities. Hannah?
So coming into college, I think my main concern, especially being a part of mentorship, was like, okay, hey, I want to intern. I know this is something I want to do, but how am I going to balance my time? This is college; it's a whole other level. But for me, the transition was pretty smooth. It wasn't too hard for me. I definitely learned a lot in the process. But if I had any advice, it's definitely to establish a schedule early on. And I think that's really easy to do with the structure you guys will have in the DC program. You have set internship days, so that's taken care of for you. And then you've got your class schedule. So it's just a matter of kind of fitting in study time between that with breaks, and of course making time for friends. So I had, the time to do everything I wanted to my freshman year. I had a great experience. So if you're concerned about kind of making it all fit, don't be. It's really easy to do.
Michael?
For me, I definitely also think that planning out a schedule is the most important thing. What I did was actually looked ahead on all of my syllabi from my different classes and had planned out when my busy weeks were going to be so that I knew when I should be getting a head start on stuff. And that's going to be really important, is planning ahead and making sure that you are on top of things, because college goes by really quickly and deadlines come up quick, and so it's important to not get behind. And if you do that, you stay organized, you're going to be totally fine.
And Alize, can you explain how you balanced your study abroad classes and extracurricular activities?
Sure. So in Bath, we weren't interning, obviously, so we did have a lot more free time, I guess, than the MPDC students. But because we were all in the same curriculum, we all pretty much had the same class schedule, more or less. So we were all free at the same time. And so because you're all going to be kind of on the same schedule, it's going to be easier to balance out hanging out and then also studying. And we did a lot of study dates and stuff in different parts of the campus, which were a lot of fun. And I mean, in Bath, there's plenty of time and plenty of stuff to see in your free time. So it was pretty easy to make a schedule from the start.
Thanks, guys. In June and July, MPDC students submit their resume and cover letter using our templates we provide. Our team will edit them, and then students receive access to our database. Most students do not secure their internship over the summer, but we do expect them to start their search by using the database. Our Director of Experiential Education, Amy Morrill, holds online advising sessions throughout the summer to help students with their search. In August and September, we host an internship fair on the first day of classes where over 70 organizations participate. Students will be able to hand out their resume and cover letter while making personal connections with organizations they're interested in. 90% of students have an internship by the third week of classes. Since finding an internship can be nerve-wracking, I'm going to ask our alumni to share what their experience was like when searching for an internship. Anna?
I can for sure attest to the incredibleness of Amy Morrell. She was my advisor and professor from my mentored field practicum. She's fantastic and has continued to be a wonderful resource for me as a sophomore. In terms of the internship search, I was pretty lucky in that I had a professional connection before college. So I got my internship in July. But even before I had applied, I'd had my resume and my cover letter approved by the program. So I was kind of given this head start. And I felt really prepared going into that search a little earlier on. I do know a ton of people who didn't, have when they arrived at AU, and that's perfectly normal. Everyone is really there to guide you through the process. You feel entirely supported the whole and I think the skills and experience I had kind of trying to find an internship so early on in college has really set me up for success. I've had 3 internships so far in college, and I'm now conducting research at AU, which application process was pretty similar to that of an internship. So you'll feel really prepared moving forward professionally, and you really receive support throughout the whole process of your search. So before it even starts, as you're interning and as you're searching, and even afterwards.
Great. Michael?
For me, I definitely, it's absolutely necessary that you take advantage of the support that the program gives to you. Definitely having your resume and your cover letters checked, getting that advice has helped me even to like this day. My resumes, I follow the template and the guidelines that the mentorship program had given me. They work out great. And in terms of finding like an internship, I would say you're using the database, but also don't be afraid to like reach on your own. I found my internship outside the database. It was actually at my representative's office, and I reached out to them and they accepted me. So don't be afraid to just stick to the database. You're able to go outside of it and it'll get approved. And so, go ahead and like look around.
Thank you. So here are some examples of organizations that MPDC students have worked for in the past. Our database has over 3,000 contacts across all disciplines, including arts and sciences, nonprofit, business, the government sector, and so on. Typical job responsibilities include research, special projects, data entry, and participating in staff meetings. I'll let our alumni jump in here and talk about the kinds of things they did at their internship site. Anna?
That's pretty spot on. I did a lot of research in mine, a lot of writing and editing. I interned at a social impact marketing firm my first semester called Neiman Collaborative. They're a small firm downtown, and they do strategic communications for different non-governmental organizations, campaigns. I worked with the American Heart Association, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So it was some pretty cool clients, and I learned a ton of, basic office skills. Like I said, a lot of writing and editing, which I love. But most importantly, I made connections. They're everything in DC. They'll get you so far. And I still speak with my first internship, and it was a really great experience.
Michael?
As a Congressional Hill intern, I did all like the basics where you're like going to collect signatures and stuff like that, but also I was able to attend briefings and write up policy proposals and memos. I attended staff meetings with my congresswomen and worked alongside of their chief of policy and even sometimes the chief of staff to like work out like strategy and what I would actually and what the plan was in like in terms of getting legislation passed and proposed and like how they would be working. And so I really got like an insider look of like how things operate on the Hill, and it was very fascinating. I got to meet a lot of cool people, including many representatives and senators, and I like left having a great time. I had many connections from both my office and other offices when I had been talking to them. And so I really, like, that was like the biggest thing, is like the connections and just the insider knowledge.
Thank you. The Mentorship Practicum seminar is the classroom component of your internship. Before your internship starts, you will fill out the experiential learning form, which lays out your job responsibilities. The responsibilities are determined through conversations with you as the student, the internship supervisor, and MFP professor. The class is graded. Students keep a reflection journal, conduct informational interviews, participate in class presentations, and write a reflective paper at the end of the semester. So to our alumni, can you talk about your experience in the MFP class? Anna?
Of course. So I mentioned I really loved my MFP advisor, Amy Morrill. She was fantastic. I think the class was a really cool way to kind of come together with other program students and talk about everyone's internships. It was cool to see where everyone was working. And also just kind of doing those weekly check-ins in a group to make sure that things were going smoothly, like how are you feeling? How is work going? How's the work-life balance working out for you? It was really helpful to have those check-ins and kind of that community around what you were engaging in. So I really loved the MFP. It also gave me a lot of presentation skills. We did a few presentations kind of on our informational interview, I believe, and then we also talked about where we were working for the semester.
Great. Michael?
In my class, I think, again, the biggest thing I talked about before was the support from the advisor. They were very helpful in figuring out the best way to address, like, when I had butt heads with somebody in the office, and like the best way to resolve conflict. But also, my second favorite part about it was just like the discussions we would have in class, and other students would be telling you about their internships and what the challenges that they overcame and how they addressed those. And it's not only, helpful to have an advisor, but also to hear from other people about what they're going through, so you can take what they went through and also apply that to your own life, and like in case you encounter that, know how to handle it already. And so I think that definitely just like the support that you receive from other students and the advisor was just like the best part, or like the biggest part of the practicum seminar.
Thank you. Now to talk about the Mentorship Program UK, commonly known as MPUK. As a MPUK student, you'll take classes at Bath Spa University in Bath, England. The program is also considered a live and learning community, which means students take classes together and live together at Bath Spa University. Students are under the guidance of an AU professor and BSU advisors. You'll take 2 AU courses. The required courses include Complex Problem Seminar, College Writing, and Economics and Globalization. Additionally, students will choose one BSU elective from the below list. These courses will count towards your electives requirement at AU. So MPUK students start the semester with a custom trip to Oxford, allowing you to see one of UK's greatest cities. Beyond the classroom, an AU professor guides the student experience, using England as a classroom with excursions to London and Stonehenge. So to our MPUK alumni, Alize, what was the best part about the excursions you were a part of?
They were just so much fun. So we had guided tours to both London and Stonehenge. And actually for the Stonehenge one, we saw a bunch of different towns and villages on the way to Stonehenge as well. So we saw Avebury, and I think there was a place called MPUK that was gorgeous. And so in all our little stops, we could go stop and have lunch and just shop around, explore the places with our friends. And we spent a night in London, or at least we did when I went, which was great because we got to take advantage of the nightlife and the amazing scenery in London as well. So, and we got to see the British Museum too as a class, and that became an assignment for one of our classes that was really interesting.
Great. Thanks, Alize. MPUK students live on campus in suites with a communal kitchen. You'll receive one meal Monday through Friday in the campus cafeteria. You can also purchase additional meals and buy groceries. Students can participate in BSU campus activities, events, and join student clubs. The city of Bath is known for its Roman baths. Also, one cool fact is that the Bath Spa University's campus is a nature preserve land owned by Prince Charles. In the spring semester, students move into their degree program. In October and November, I will organize advising sessions with advisors of the intended school. The purpose of the sessions is to learn more about the school, majors, and corresponding classes students take throughout their time at AU. MPUK students will virtually participate in the advising sessions. I'll also make a trip to BSU to meet with students as well. And lastly, in November, students register for their spring courses. So keeping in mind, you're not only choosing the mentorship program, but you're also choosing American University for 4 years. So why choose AU? Here are some compelling facts, including more than half of the AU undergrad student body intern and or study abroad at some point during their academic career. Students live on campus at Leonard Hall. MPUK students will move in Leonard Hall in early January. Our students can participate in campus activities, events, and student-led clubs, including intramural sports. Our students have access to the library, the gym, tutoring lab, and other resources and facilities on campus for students. Students have access to the AU shuttle, which will transport students to our closest metro station, which is Tinleytown. And the metro is our public transportation system here in the Washington, D.C. area. Our students receive the U-Pass, which is a card used to travel on the metro at no additional cost. And more importantly, our students have access to all of DC. Students visit museums, Capitol Hill, the National Mall, and well-known restaurants throughout the area. So to our alumni, can you speak about your overall experience at AU? Anna?
Sure. So AU is definitely the place for me, studying political science and environmental science, honestly, in our nation's capital was just a no-brainer for me. I knew I wanted to work, knew I wanted to intern in the city. You'll hear us talk about experiential learning a lot at AU, and I've definitely found that to be the experience for me. I interned both semesters of my freshman year, and then as a sophomore, I've gotten more involved with more on-campus things. I'm doing an independent study research with the Department of Environmental Science. And I'm a member of Greek Life on campus and our Panhellenic Judicial Board. So I've found that getting involved in clubs and in Greek Life have really made AU my home.
Michael?
So again, I just love how active AU is in the political community. As a political science major, obviously, studying in DC and having an internship on the Hill was amazing, and it was just such a eye-opening and life-changing experience. But also just everybody at AU is committed to making a change, and everybody here really cares about just politics and just making the world a better place. And it's really hard to describe, but when you're around people that are dedicated to the same thing you are, it just feels like home. AU feels like home for me.
And Alize.
So I got to AU in January. So I came after most people had come to begin their freshman year, but I integrated really, really quickly. And I love AU so much because you meet so many different people from all over the world in the same place. And there's so many opportunities, not only in AU, but also in DC. So I've done 2 internships so far as well after my study abroad program. And I also teach languages that I speak with a language network here. And there's lots of volunteering opportunities. And if you're into activism and stuff, there's tons of stuff going on all the time. So no matter what, there's always going to be something for you, no matter what field you're studying or what your interests are. And right now I'm home because of the coronavirus, obviously, and I feel reverse homesick because AU is like my other home.
Great, thank you. So how do you say yes to AU and the mentorship program? You would want to submit your deposit before May 1st. Spots in both programs will fill up soon. We're also happy to connect you to students who have participated in the program as well. So we'll pause for a moment to take some of your questions. If we don't get to your question tonight, please reach out to us. Our contact information is on the screen here. And give us one moment. Thanks for your patience. So as I mentioned earlier, we have some staff on site helping us manage the questions that come through. So I'll go ahead and take a few out loud here. And our first question, can you choose a roommate? You can choose a roommate to live with during the fall semester. Most students do connect to or connect by a Facebook group that is sent to all first year students at AU. So a lot of students do choose based on that resource. So we have a question about the MPUK program. When do students leave for Bath? So students will leave for Bath September 14th. They will participate in the pre-trip program to Oxford. And on September 18th, students will travel together to BSU's campus and they will take part in an orientation session with both BSU staff and AU staff as well. So we have some questions about the internship. Students who use our database can definitely start applying to internship opportunities. Some organizations will do Skype interviews over the summer, and of course, others will do interviews in person. It isn't uncommon for students to not come in August with a secure internship. Students can participate in the internship fair on the first day of classes, and that is also a helpful tool when seeking internship opportunities. Like I mentioned, most students do secure their internship by the 3rd week of classes. So we have some questions about whether or not both programs will be running in the fall. And yes, our programs are scheduled to run in the fall. If we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, AU will let us know how to schedule various courses. We will more than likely go online, which is what we're currently doing. But as of today, we are definitely still scheduled to run both programs. And also to mention, if we do resort to online instruction, some organizations that we've partnered with have already let us know that they're able to give our students work to do while they're at home, essentially. Great question. We have some questions about scholarship and financial aid. Unfortunately, scholarship or financial aid wouldn't be applicable to the mentorship program. However, if students are awarded any type of merit or financial aid, it will kick in beginning spring semester. So we have a question about the MPUK program. Students are not limited to just taking our program in the fall. Students do have the opportunity to study abroad another semester if they would like. It's not uncommon for students to study abroad multiple semesters during their time at AU. And the same thing would apply to internships. Students will get more than one internship while being at AU as a student. We have another question about internships. Are they guaranteed for every student? Students will definitely have to be proactive when searching for their internship. Our staff will assist students, of course, but ultimately our students will have to be proactive. They're logging into the internship database and they're also relying on their personal networks, their parents' networks to secure an internship. We haven't had many issues with students not securing an internship, but like I mentioned, our staff is in place to help students secure an internship site. So we have a question about how quickly do the programs fill up? That's a great question. The MPUK cohort will fill first before the MPDC. We try to have smaller numbers with the MPUK cohort so that students can really hone in on their experience abroad. It would be pretty much impossible if we had the same size cohort as we do for MPDC. Typically, we have about 20 to 25 students in the MPUK cohort and about 150 to 160 students in the MPDC cohort. Okay, I see a few questions about Leonard Hall. Our students do stay at Leonard Hall during the fall and spring semester. And reason being is that it's easier for students to stay at Leonard Hall as opposed to moving across campus. And students who do enroll in the mentorship program, it fits with their class schedule. The Leonard Hall is near all of the buildings where students can take their classes. It just makes sense for our students to stay at Leonard Hall their first year. We like to look at it as guaranteed housing the very first year at AU. So we have some questions about the benefits to our programs. For MPDC students, we like to think of these students as having a leg up. Our students intern on their very first semester, where that isn't really common at most universities. Our students intern, they receive credit for it, and they will also be knocking out some of those AU core required courses. And the benefit to the MPUK program, same thing. Our students are studying abroad their very first semester, which is also uncommon. Most students do not consider study abroad options until they're upperclassmen. We have more questions about Leonard Hall. Leonard Hall has communal space on every floor. There's laundry space as well. Students have multiple bathrooms on each level. And unfortunately, Leonard Hall has only double occupancy rooms, so you wouldn't be able to apply or sign up for suite style housing, unfortunately. Also to add, Leonard Hall has students from other programs at AU. Most students who reside at Leonard Hall are first year students. We have an MPUK question. If the program does not run in the fall, students would be able to participate in the MPDC program. But like I mentioned, we are definitely still scheduled to run both programs.
Some of you are also asking about like a typical day in the UK program. So we do take classes. Generally, we have like, I'd say 3 to 4 days of classes per week. And then usually we would go to our classes, which tend to be more towards the morning. And then we'd generally go into town. There's a bus that leaves right from campus into the city of Bath. And we'd spend the rest of the day walking around or participating in some club or just doing fun things with our friends somewhere in town.
Also, to add about the MPUK program, students will transition to AU, of course, in the early January, and they will also participate in an orientation session just so that students are acclimated with the university and available resources. And of course, MPUK students will move into Leonard Hall also early January. Great question. So we have a question about the Facebook link. I can definitely send that out to everyone who participated in the webinar tonight. Thanks for bringing that up. I will definitely send that. We have a question about choosing the specific program. So before you choose the specific program you're interested in, you would want to confirm your enrollment at AU. You will then receive an email containing a link to actually specify which program you would like. So that would be either MPDC or MPUK. For MPUK students, there is an additional deposit of $1,500. That does secure your housing while at Bath Spa University. We have a question about internships in the spring semester. We've had students in the past who went on to stay at their internship site in the spring, which is totally fine. It's truly up to the organization and the supervisor as if they have additional assignments for students, that they will let students stay on board if that's okay with both of the student and the supervisor. I have some more internship questions. Does the internship have to do with my major? So that's a great question. We do encourage our students to think outside of the box, but most students do choose their internship based off their major or simply their interests. But again, we do want our students to think outside of the box when exploring internship opportunities. More questions about the internship. So we do encourage students to apply to more than a handful of internships. Reason being is that DC is a very attractive place for students to intern. So in a sense, you could be competing against other students in the DC area. So we do recommend to apply as many internship opportunities as you can. We have a question about whether or not students have to take the mentorship program in the fall. And the answer to that is no. The program isn't required, but I do want to mention that if students do not take the program, they can potentially be behind one semester. Students can explore other options, such as considering classes at local community colleges, but you do want to make sure that those classes do transfer to AU, because you definitely want to be on a 4-year degree plan at AU and not be behind. The program is set up so that you will graduate with your class of 2024. So you're not making up a semester or taking additional classes because this program will keep you on track to graduate with your class. So we have some time to do one more question or so. Are internships paid? Occasionally, students will look up and find a paid internship. It isn't always common, but it does happen. So we encourage students to utilize that database as quickly as you can to potentially end up with an internship that does pay, whether it is a stipend or simply a biweekly check. Okay, everyone, thank you for attending tonight's webinar. We really appreciate you sharing some of your time with us, and special thanks to our alumni for sharing their experience. If you have follow-up questions for us, please feel free to reach us at either our telephone number or email address. We are definitely happy to help. Thanks again and have a great night.